Hello everyone, in this video we will see template class. So in the last video we have seen template function. Now let's implement one class as a template class. So I will take the example of stack class. Now I hope you know the stack data structure. Stack is a data structure which follows last in first out algorithm. So suppose this is some container and I'm inserting the elements into this container. Now stack is one end open data structure, so this other end is closed and I can insert the element from one end, and if I want to remove the elements I can remove that from the same end. So inserting element into the stack is called as push operation. So this operation is called as push. Insert operation is nothing but push operation, and removing elements from the stack is called as pop operation. So suppose I insert few elements, say 10, 20, 30 into the stack, then how it will work? So first element, which is 10, it will go to the bottom of stack, so it will be stored here. Next element 20 will be stored onto the top of the previous element, so 20 will be stored here, and next element 30 will be stored onto the top of 20. So this is how the elements will be pushed. Now when I pop out the element, first 30 will come out, then 20 will come out, and then 10 will come out. So for this I want to write one class. Now what will be the data members of that class? One member I will need is nothing but one array which will act as a container. It may be array, or you can use dynamic memory allocation for holding the elements. So that will be the one data member. Then size will be the other data member. So size of this stack maybe 5, 10, 15. It is able to accommodate those many number of elements. So that will be another data member. And one more data member I have to maintain in that class, which is nothing but top of the stack, which will point to the topmost element of the stack. So it is actually index of topmost element. Top is nothing but index of topmost elements. So in this case index of 10 will be 0, index of 20 will be 1, and index of this 30 will be 2. So that is nothing but top value. So let's write that class. Now when I implement the class, first I will implement it for integer, and then I will convert into the template so that it can hold any item instead of integer. It can hold integer, it can hold double, it can hold some string, and even it will be able to hold some object of class. So let's write the class stack for integer first and then for template. So it will be class stack. What will be the data members? Here I will take one integer pointer, for which I will allocate the memory inside the constructor. Then size of the stack will be other data member, and top will be the third member, which will be the index of topmost element. So what will be the functions for the class stack? It will be default constructor first, then you can write parameterized constructor if you want. If you don't want parameterized constructor, that is also okay. The other functions will be the operations onto the stack, which is nothing but push and pop operations. So push function will be there, void push. Push function will take one argument, which is nothing but the element I am pushing onto the stack. So it will be having one argument, which is integer argument. Then pop function will be there. Return type of pop function will is nothing but integer, because it is returning element. So it should be same as data type of the element the stack is holding. So it will be int pop, and there won't be any argument to the pop function. Apart from these functions, I have to write two more functions to handle the exceptional cases like underflow and overflow. Overflow is nothing but you are trying to push element onto the full stack, and underflow is nothing but you are trying to remove the element from the empty stack. So for that check, I will write two functions. One is full function, which will return true or false depending on stack is full or not, and other will be isEmpty function, which will also return true or false depending on stack is empty. So let's write down the definitions. Default constructor. In default constructor, first I need to assign size. So suppose I take size as 5, which is default size of stack, I am able to hold 5 elements into the stack by default. Then after that I have to allocate memory for the pointer ARR, so that I can store the elements in that allocated memory. So ARR equals to new int how many elements, size number of elements, so it will be size here, and after that I will initialize top. Now what will be the initial value of top? When you push the first element, if you see the diagram here, when you push the first element, top is pointing nowhere. So suppose -1 is the value inside the top, and after that when you push the first element, first top is incremented from -1 to 0, and then element is stored into the incremented index. When you push the second element, first top is incremented from 0 to 1, and then element is stored at the incremented index. When third element is pushed, top is incremented to 2 first, and then element is stored. So for pushing, the algorithm is like first increment the top value and then store the element. So for that purpose, the initial value of top should be -1, so that when it is incremented first time, the value will become 0 and first element will go at 0th index. So this will be the default constructor. After that, void is the return type for push function, then name of the class is stack, then you will give scope resolution, then name of the function push. It is taking argument, which is nothing but data or element you want to push. So here you can write a single line definition, which will be very precise definition. So it will be written like ARR of plus plus top. That means first incrementation will happen and then the element will be stored equals to data. So this is the single line definition. You can write multi-line definition also, first top plus plus, then after that ARR top equals to data, but this is the precise code. Then pop function is return type is integer, then class name is stack, pop is the name of the function. Now here you want to now the algorithm for pop will be exactly reverse as that of push. That means first you will fetch the element, then you will decrement the top value. So first you will return the element and then you will decrement the top value. So definition of pop will be return ARR of top minus minus. It will be post decrement. Now two more functions is full is empty. So what will be the full and empty condition? Suppose if all 5 elements, size of the stack is 5, so if all 5 elements are there into the stack, then what will be the top value? The top value will be, for 40 it will be 3, and for 50 it is 4. That means in general it is size minus 1. So when the top value is size minus 1, stack is full. And for empty condition, when top value is -1, stack is empty. So those definitions you have to provide for each full and each empty. So bool, then stack is class name, scope resolution is full. So in general stack is full when top value is size -1. So I will write here top equals to size -1. So again this is single line definition. We can write if else also, but if I write it like this, the checking or comparison will happen here itself, and the function itself will return either true or false depending on the condition, whether it is true or false. Then is empty function will be there. For is empty, condition will be top equals to -1. Now let me check whether it is running. So I write one main method, main function. In the main function I create the object of stack class. So stack s1, and I push some elements, s1 dot push 10, 20, 30, 40. and let me pop them out. So s1 dot pop handle. Now let me compile and run the program. G++ stack.cpp is the program. Okay, there are errors. Cout endl is not defined. At the beginning include iostream. Hash include iostream. Using namespace std. Compile. Line number 17, there is an error. Okay, here when I write the default constructor, class name scope resolution was missing. Now it is okay. Let me run the code. Yes, it is printing 40, 30, 20, 10. So this is the integer stack. Now I want to write a template stack. Instead of integer stack, my purpose was to write the template stack. So what will be the changes in this code? So when you write a template class, first of all you need to declare the template type. So here it will be template type name T. So this is declaration of generic type T. After that, what will be the changes in the declaration of class? Now this is integer pointer because I am allocating memory to store integers. So when I write a template stack, I can store anything. I can store any data type or any object. So the memory allocation won't be for integer, it will be for some generic type T. So instead of integer array, now it will become array of T type. So I have to declare pointer of T kind, T asterisk arr. Then size will be integer only because doesn't matter what is there inside the stack, size is size. So that will be one integer, and top will be also integer because anyhow it is the index of topmost element. So index will be always 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Doesn't matter what is stored inside the stack. So there won't be any change in size and top. What will be the changes in the functions? Default constructor, no change. Push function will take one argument of T type because I want to push some generic element T. Pop function will return the element of T kind. Then is full, is empty functions will be same. Now you need to remember how to define these member functions for template class. When you define the functions separately, the syntax is like this. First of all, you need to declare the generic type T above every function definition. So I will copy that line and I will paste it everywhere here. Then second function, above the second function, above the third function, and above is full and is empty function as well. Now one more thing you need to remember, when you define the class as a template class, when you write the definition of functions, here you have to write angular bracket T. That means now the function is belonging to the stack class, which is a template class. So everywhere when you write the class name, you have to write T inside angular bracket so that it will indicate this class is template class. So T between class name and scope resolution. Now what will change in the main function? Now the difference between function template and class template is function templates are automatically instantiated and class templates we have to instantiate them explicitly. Now how to instantiate them explicitly? When I create the object for stack template, or when I create the object for class template, at the time of declaration into the angular brackets, I need to define it for specific type. So here I have to either write some int, char, float, double, some object, employee, student. So this should be of specific data type. So now let me compile. I hope I have done all the changes. Let me compile the code again. Okay, argument to the push function will be T. So here it will be T data. and return type of pop function will be T. So now let's run the code. So it is getting compiled and it is getting run as well. So 40, 30, 20, 10. So this is the template class. Now even suppose now instead of integer I have some other object s2. So s2 object is declared for some string. Then how to declare that string is nothing but character pointer. So I declare stack char star s2 and I push some strings s2 dot push. Suppose I push first string, say first, then second string, second, and third string is third. Then same class will run for string as well. So here if I pop them all, okay, here it is showing an error, cannot convert int star to char star star. Now why this error is line number 22. So line number 22 is this. Now here what is happening, we are allocating memory for integer, which should not be the case. When I say it is the stack of T type, I have to allocate memory for T kind of variable. So that change was not there. So now let me compile, and when I run it, it is done. Here it should be s2 dot pop for string. So now compile and run. So it is running for both the types, 40, 30, 20, 10 integer stack output, third, second, first string stack output. So this is how you will write the template stack. Now one more thing is remaining. Let me divide the code into 3 different files. So right now I have written the program in a single file. Declaration is there, definitions of member functions are there, and main function is there. But actually we used to write program into 3 file structure. So suppose I have 3 different files. One is stack.h, then stack.cpp, and main.cpp. So I create 2 more files, stack.cpp and main.cpp. So in the 3 file structure, the declaration of class, so this is the declaration, it will be inside the stack.h. So I cut it from here and I write it here. The definitions of member functions will go inside stack.cpp. So they are this file is stack.cpp only. So now let me change the main function position. So main function will go inside main.cpp. So I will cut this code from here and I will paste it in the main.cpp. So this is how I will divide the code into 3 different files. Stack.h contains the declaration, stack.cpp contains the member function definitions, and main.cpp contains the main function. So now which file I need to include where? Stack.h don't need anything. Stack.cpp, inside stack.cpp I have to include stack.h. I will include that in double quotes since it is user defined header. And in main function also I have to include iostream and stack.h. So let me write here. So now what will happen? Will this code get compiled? Let me try to compile the code. G++, which files I will compile? I will compile only .cpp files. So I will compile stack.cpp and I will compile main.cpp. So now there are many errors that I can see. So this code was getting compiled when I have written the code in a single file, but after I divide the code into 3 different files, it is not getting compiled. Now why it is not getting compiled? If you see the errors, these are not compile time errors, these are linking time errors. Undefined reference, whenever undefined reference comes, it is linking error. So it is not able to link the definitions of the functions push, pop, then default constructor. So always it is not getting the definition. So why it is not getting the definition? So in case of template, you need to remember that since class template is not instantiated automatically, Now this is not for function template, it is only for the class template. Function templates are automatically instantiated, but since class template is not automatically instantiated, for a class template the definition of the whole class should come before the declaration of the object. So if I include only stack.h here, then in that case only declaration will come before the only declaration of class will come before the object declaration. So that is not sufficient. Class template needs whole function definition before the object creation. So here instead of including stack.h, you have to include stack.cpp. Now this is for only templates. So generally we never include one .cpp file into the other .cpp file, but only in case of templates I have to include stack.cpp inside main.cpp, since I need the whole function definition, whole class definition. So I make this change, and now let me try to compile the code. So you can see that it is getting compiled. So that is one more important thing that you need to remember. For template you have to include definition.cpp in main.cpp. So this is how you will write template class. So if you like the video, please do like and share the video. I will see you again in the next video.